Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Olisemeko Okeke. This is Political Point. On Political Point today, we have a lot of things to discuss today. Of course, the best topic is we'll be discussing the aftermath of the election and the way forward. Of course, we know Nigeria has gone on its election for 2023, which happened on the 25th of February. And we are now discussing the aftermath of this election, which has generally said to be rigged from what people and persons have been talking about. So I have here in the studio with me a very great person of great importance who will be discussing the issue with us. We have Honorable John Paul C. Iloduba. Honorable John Paul C. Iloduba, you're welcome to the studio.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Honorable John Paul C. Iloduba is a MD, Petreg Investment. He's a former Anambra State Secretary, so Social Democratic Party, SDP. He's also the former Anambra State House of Assembly aspirant under the platform of APC. He is the lead pastor of Riches of Christ International Gospel Center, OCA. So we'll have a whole lot to discuss with him immediately after this short break. Do stay with us. Honorable, the aftermath of the election, I would like you to discuss about it extensively. What will be after now? Since we have gotten from the voices of the people in the street that they are totally not with the result called by INEC, what is now the way forward from this?
Well, first of all, I want to personally on my own describe what happened as a jamboree. I want to describe it as the most in fact, what happened was never an election, in Nigeria. You could believe that there was an election, but for me, I know there was nothing like an election that took place in this country. What really happened was that a group of people led by Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu had an agreement, in secret with a man we believe to be a professor, but today he has proved himself. In fact, what do you call it? The Association of Professors should come together and take away that title from him. Yes, he's not a professor. He's don't know what it is, but he's not a professor as far as I'm concerned. So this group of people in APC had an agreement with him, and then he came out openly to implement the agreement. And that agreement is to rig Nigerian election, and he has done that. So now, if you go to the street, people are crying, people are weeping. I can tell you without fear of favor, categorically here, that a lot of people are not happy with what happened on the 25th of February. First of all, INEC, as the electoral umpire, they promised Nigerians, they promised us that we're going to upload results on INEC portal and
That's the
IREV.
Yes.
There's one called IREV, and then another one called SAVA.
Yes.
These two things, results were meant to be uploaded, from sheets. The result that were already written, you snap them from hard copy, and then you send them, you upload them to the IREV. Okay, where you could see the results as collected, as written. I mean to say, do you understand?
Yes.
On the collection listing result sheet. Now you send, after you must have done that, after you must have sent to IREV, there's another one you send to INEC server, the collected results from the polling unit. INEC didn't do that. They slaughtered, in fact, they rigged this election without minding what would be the outcome of this election. They rigged this election without trying to find out what would be the reaction of the masses. So, they decided, like I said earlier, to INEC chairman in particular, who is the chief returning officer of this presidential election, decided to carry out this criminal act. Because it's a criminal act for you to go against what the law says. The law says, you have, you must remember that we have an electoral act duly signed by the president of this country, and when he signs it, it becomes a law. Therefore, INEC is bound to carry its activities based on the rule of law. The rule of law says you must transmit results electronically. That is what the law says. And then they failed to do so.
Okay. You are talking about transmission, and that refers to the section 64 of the Electoral Act, verse 4, section 64, subsection 4, which talked about electronic transmission, and when the chief collection officer is reading out this, it must be in tandem with what has been on the server. That is it. But now again, how does what is the way forward? What is now the INEC's position on this? What is the let me say the legal opportunities left on this?
I want to tell you something, Olisa. You know, your first question was, what is the aftermath, effect of what the election that was conducted? Yes. Now, if you go to the streets of this country, in fact, there was a particular woman, I know this woman, she had miscarriage upon hearing, a pregnant woman, upon hearing that Tinubu, the bat, has been declared winner of this election. She got, she had miscarriage immediately. That is to tell you or to show you how mad people are in the streets. When after election, people should be happy. People should be celebrating. You should be seeing congratulatory messages going forward to the president-elect. How many have you seen? Even within the APC, even within the ranks of APC, they've not been able, high-profile individual in APC have been able to even send congratulatory messages. Because they know that the election was, massively rigged. So people are crying. People are protesting. In Abuja the other day, people were protesting the injustice that was meted out to Nigerians by this APC government, by INEC. INEC chairman swore to Nigerians. INEC chairman, during the electionary campaign period, INEC chairman kept telling civil society organizations that he was going to transmit results electronically, and he failed to do that. Now people are crying everywhere. Now to the second question you ask about the opportunities legally available to the opposition.
Yes.
Well, after the election, we have during election you have 3 stages, and first stages is to go for primaries. Come out from primary, you go for the main election. When you are out from the main election and you are not satisfied, you go to court. And let me tell you, the 2 main opposition parties in this contest, talking about Labour Party and the PDP, they have made it clear to Nigerians, especially that of Labour Party, that they must head to court to challenge this impunity. And some of us who have concern of what has happened are fully in support that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, even if Peter Obi says he will not go to court today, there are millions of Nigerians who will even go to court to challenge what has happened. Because on his behalf, because what happened in Nigeria was never an election. It's a jamboree of the highest order. And a democracy should be government of the people, by the people for the people. And now it is now government of the selected few. for being forced to the people. You don't force president on the people. People choose their leader in democracy. You choose your leader. But INEC chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has imposed VAT on Nigerians. And we Nigerians, we must resist it. We must say no to this.
Are you saying that nobody actually voted for the Jagaban? Because the way you're putting it is now seems as if it is just written that nobody actually. There are persons that at least are still happy in the sense that it is still bad.
Yeah, Olisa, like I said earlier, of course, there are people who voted for Bat. Yeah. Okay, I choose to call him now because that is what he has chosen to be called. Okay, so there were people who voted for him, but in democracy, minority will have their say, and majority will have their way. Yes. The majority of Nigerian populace voted massively for Labour Party. Okay. It's on record. It's everywhere. You could see the sign everywhere. You could see the breeze, the Labour wind, the blowing everywhere, even before the election. So, actually, there were people that voted for BAT, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but the majority of the people voted for Labour Party. So, what INEC has done is to deprive the people their choice candidate, their choice. Okay. As Nigerians, like I said earlier, must rise to resist this impunity. Otherwise, this will continue. INEC has now made Nigeria to look like a playground before the international community. INEC as what do you call it? Electoral body has made Nigeria to look like I don't know how to describe this. Okay. But in the eyes of the international community, Nigeria means nothing to them anymore. A country where you claim you are practicing democracy, and you came out openly to impose a candidate on the people, and you are talking about allowing this to stand the test of time. It will not. We must challenge it. Yes. And I can bet you that Nigerians are wiser today. They will take back their country.
Well, Honorable, the way you are saying it, what if, I want to understand you, I want us to be on par here. There are issues, there are strings of issues that might have resolved to this. One, I think maybe the ICT part of the INEC should also get a chunk of the blame. Or is it the personnel that were trained that also have an issue here to answer, a question to answer here? Or are you taking the whole burden on the INEC chairman?
Olisa, after the signing of the new Electoral Act 2022, INEC had 1 year to plan for this election. To the best of my knowledge, I learned that billions of naira were
553 billion.
Okay, was given to INEC in preparation to this election. And before the election, we had INEC chairman, Professor, like I said earlier, I will choose not to call him Professor, Mahmoud Yakubu.
But he's still a professor anyway.
Oh, to himself, he's not, as long as I'm concerned, he's not a professor. No reasonable professor will do what he has done. What legacy is he going to leave? History will judge him. What will people, what will the unborn generation read about him? That he helped to enthrone corruption, impunity. That he was seen as an avenue. He was seen as a passage to bring a man that was, rejected. So as long as I'm concerned, I don't see him to be, in fact, I don't regard him as a professor. He messed everything up. But the most annoying part of it is that these people take Nigerians to be fools. INEC chairman, you came out openly before the election. I was following him online. Even the one called Barrister Fesu Kiyamo, the one in charge of voter education in INEC, yes. He will always appear on national television to tell Nigerians, don't worry, we are going to upload results, we are going to transmit results. If you can't keep the rules, or you change the rules of game at the middle of the game, why then did you give us hopeless hope? If you knew, if INEC chairman knew that he wasn't going to keep to the rules, why did you give us hopeless hope? We were hoping. People, we in this country, let me tell you, we fought tirelessly to make sure that the new Electoral Act was signed into law. Why were people fighting to see the new Electoral Act signed into law? Because we believed. And the INEC chairman made us to believe that too. That when we have a new Electoral Act where INEC can transmit results electronically from the polling unit level, that the elections will be free and fair. And now that was your promise. In the middle of the game, you changed it. If you had problem with ICT, you should have briefed the people. You should have someone, what do you call it, emergency press briefing to tell Nigerians, look, this is our talent. But even if he had done that, it would be laughable. Because you had 1 year. 1 year. From the time the Electoral Act was signed into law. You had 1 year to prepare for this election. So, and he also assured Nigeria, even after it was signed into law, he came out open to tell Nigeria that INEC is prepared. Severally, I heard him say that INEC is prepared to conduct the election. At no point in time did he tell Nigerians that he was not prepared. At no point in time did he tell Nigerians that he envisaged maybe ICT failure. He didn't say so to us. He didn't. He kept giving us hope. He kept telling us that election must hold. And it must be transparent. It must be fair. It must be credible. At the end of the day, you failed. INEC chairman should be in a civilized country. INEC chairman should be in the prison by now. Because what he has done is a criminal act. This is the rule. The rule of law says you must transmit results electronically. And you didn't do that. Oh.
I want to put it straight. You talked about the person in charge of voter of course, I know it is because of the tension in the house, because of how tense you are. It is not Festus Keyamo, it is Festus Okoye. Yeah, Festus Okoye that is in charge of that.
And that reminds me. Yeah. You mentioned that Festus Keyamo. Actually, I was going to talk about it. Okay. You know, it baffles me in this country where a learned man, of course, you and I know that it's just lawyers that are learned in this country. All the other person is educated.
By the same.
So, but it baffles me. It gives me worries to see a learned individual like him in the rank of son to come out openly to talk down on rule of law. I don't know. I don't know what Festus Keyamo is going to tell his unborn children. I don't know what Festus Keyamo is going to tell Nigerians. That, because I heard him praising INEC, saying that INEC is not under any obligation to transmit results electronically. I think he was trying to defend INEC and the APC, but shame on him. Shame on him, because he's a serving minister, because he tends to benefit because of his own selfish interest, because of his own self-centered reasons, benefits. He's today a lawyer talking down on rule of law. The rule of law is clear. It is clear. You must transmit results. You didn't do that. And we're asking, we're not even saying that Bola Tinubu didn't win the election. That's not even the point of argument here. The point is, did you transmit this result electronically? If you did, let us see. We want to see the result in the server and the IREF. We want to see it. We want to have access to it. So we can do plus and minus and know who actually won the election. And let me also make this point. I'm ashamed of Jesus Kiyamo. I must be sincere with you. I'm ashamed of him. I used to have high regard and respect for him. But after listening to him defending APC, I lost confidence and trust and hope on that young man. He's a shameless man. He doesn't have shame. I'm telling you the gospel. He doesn't have shame. To come out on national television to defend what has happened means that. In fact, let me also say the Nigerian Bar Association should come together and take away that stand from him. He doesn't know what he's doing as a lawyer.
I also want to talk about that. Of course, we know that whatever opinion our guests have is their own private opinion and not the opinion of the opinion, and not our own opinion. I also want to ask you about the international observers that were here that observed this very, as you said, shenanigan that happened. Most of them have already put out a report saying that it is wrong. And some of them, like the international police or whatever that will be around to monitor the election, said it was free and fair. So what do you have to say about all this? Because we are meant to believe that observers are meant to be neutral. They are meant to say the truth at all bits. What do you get? What do you have to say about that?
Well, Nigeria is a sovereign state, so the international observers. But let me tell you this: I've not really heard what the international observers said about this election, so I might not be able to, judge them, But I know that international observers that monitor this election, I know they won't be as wicked as saying, as wicked to the point that they will say that this election was free and fair. Because in their individual countries, nations, this kind of election will never be conducted there. Even in South Africa here, you can't conduct such jamboree called election. There was never election in this country. Even 2007 election that we all believe to be rigged wasn't as bad as this. It wasn't. This election, I don't know, this is daylight robbery. I lack words to describe what happened. I have to travel myself from the city where I am down to my village just to make sure that I cast my vote. And at the end of the day, and I know who won in my polling unit, at the end of the day, you came out and announced nonsense. Sometimes I wonder where is conscience of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Has he sold his conscience? Where is his conscience? Does it mean that he is happy seeing Nigerians go through what we are going through? Over the past 8 years, Nigerians have been in suffering. Over the past 8 years, Nigeria, a country that should, secure. What is the primary responsibility of a government? It's not to secure lives and properties of the citizens, but this country, this government, APC government for the past 8 years has murdered its own citizens in cold blood. That is the same government that wants to continue. During the NSAS protest, Nigerian government sent soldiers to kill and dry the youths. Tell me if that can happen in America. Not even one soul will be wasted in America and the American government will keep quiet. It can happen in UK. It cannot happen in civilized countries of the world. But because our government is a government that is self-centered, because our government is a government that, that does not really take the feelings of the masses as anything, they murder their own citizens. But one thing I must tell you, there is God in heaven. And God is watching over our affairs. God is watching on everything we are doing as individual, collectively, and one day there will be a pay time. Mahmoud Yakubu, you must surely reap what you have sowed.
I want to ask you, what about should people still have hope? Is there still hope for the masses? Because you know we have elections by 11th, the next election for governorship. So what hope can you pass out to them now?
Well, I want to make it clear that Nigerians, especially the youths, don't give up. Nobody should give up in this election.
Okay.
I want to say to Nigerian youths, Tombo, you people are the real winners of this election. We are the real winners of this election. There is hope. Days are gone when judiciary will always mess up this country and, you know, cut away with it. Even the justices, they don't buy food cheaper than other citizens. The justices of the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal that are going to sit to hear these cases, they don't, their lives are not, you know, gathered somewhere else. Yes. So we all live in Nigeria. They all go through the pains we are going through. So I know that Nigeria judiciary will wake up, and Nigeria judiciary we uphold, because there's one thing, it's one thing giving judgment and it's another thing giving justice. But I believe that Nigerian judiciary of today is no longer like that of, you know, 70s and 80s and 90s or early 2000s. So I believe that this judiciary of today will give justice to the Nigerian people. And finally, I want to say to Nigerian people, please, come 11th of March 2023, go out there and speak loud again like you spoke on the 25th of February. Vote your conscience, but you know what your conscience should be. Vote wisely. Kudos.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Honorable John Paul Iloduba. We have been with Honorable John Paul Iloduba, and I believe that we've heard enough from him, because it is one thing to be good, it's another thing to be better. Nigeria, of course, will be great, and Nigeria, of course, will be better again. That is our prayer, and that has been what we have been objecting for. And from us here, it is okay. From us here, it has been a good one. From here, it has been that we should remain who we are. Do not riot. Always be safe. Stay safe. Do not riot. Do not do the wrong things. Join us always as we round up from here. You can follow us on our pages, share and like, and tell others about us.